There are some things that separate the good athletes from the greatest ones. Yes, many dominate in the regular season. Some also dominate in the playoffs. Others choke in the playoffs. Some do both. But really, an athlete's legacy is made by how they do in crunch time. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we dive into 10 athletes who always seem to choke in the playoffs when it mattered most. Number 10, Curtis Joseph. Joseph's 454 career wins are the most ever for an NHL goalie who never won a Stanley Cup. We'll go into more detail now. Joseph was one of the most dominant goalies of his era. He played on all 3 All-Star teams and always took his teams to the playoffs. But Joseph, who played on 4 elite Toronto Maple Leafs teams from 1999 to 2002, never took them to the finals. His best shot at a ring came when he joined the Detroit Red Wings, but in 2002 and 2003, his play was very lackluster, and the Stanley Cup favorites went home early both years with him manning the crease in the playoffs. Number 9, Brett Favre. It pains us to put a Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champion here, but really, Favre should have won more championships. He wasn't able to guide his Packers to a repeat in Super Bowl 32 against the heavy underdog Denver Broncos. He threw a costly interception in the 2007 NFC Championship to hand the New York Giants a trip to the Super Bowl. 2 years later, he tossed a pick in the NFC Championship against the New Orleans Saints, with his Minnesota Vikings in range for a game-winning field goal late in the fourth quarter. He had just 44 touchdowns along with 30 interceptions and a 13-11 record in 24 career postseason games. Number 8, Chris Webber. Webber played a solid NBA career, scoring 20.7 points per game during his 16 NBA seasons. But there's really only one moment that showed he wasn't reliable in crunch time. During the 1993 NCAA Men's Championship game, Webber's Michigan squad trailed North Carolina by 2 points with 11 seconds left. He called timeout not knowing his team didn't have any left. He was issued a technical and North Carolina won the title. He wasn't able to win an NBA championship either. Number 7, Tony Romo. The Dallas Cowboys quarterback doesn't have an easy job playing for America's team, but he makes being a playoff quarterback look harder than asking a 10-year-old to build a spaceship for NASA on his own. Romo owns a very lackluster 2-4 playoff record, throwing 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but his botched snap in the 2006 wildcard game against the Seattle Seahawks will live in infamy. So will his miserable day against the heavy underdog Giants in the 2007 wildcard round, where the top-seeded Cowboys went home despite dominating the NFC during the regular season. Number 6, most men's Brazilian national soccer teams. Brazil was once considered the top soccer nation on the planet. It was hard to argue that, considering they have the most World Cup titles and won it all in 1994 and 2002, while reaching the finals in 1998. In 2006, they lost in the quarterfinals to the underdog France team. In 2010, they also went home in the quarterfinals to Netherlands. In 2014, as the host nation, they lost 7-1 to Germany in the semifinals. 7-1 at home, we kid you not. Considering how Pelé and Ronaldo brought dominance for Brazil at the World Cup for decades, 3 straight World Cups without even medaling is enough to land on our list. Neymar, David Luiz, and Thiago Silva, step your games up. Number 5, Karl Malone. He'd easily be in the NBA's top 5 players of all time if he could have won championships, but 2 decades of greatness without a ring hurt Malone's legacy. His Utah Jazz were always a juggernaut, but Malone was never able to finish the job. The Jazz lost to the Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals in both 1997 and 1998. In his last year, he joined the LA Lakers in the 2004 season. He put up a mere 20 points in a 5-game series loss to the underdog Detroit Pistons in the NBA Finals. Bill Russell, 11 championships. Michael Jordan, 6. Kobe Bryant, 5. Tim Duncan, 5. LeBron James, 3. Malone equals 0. Someone just didn't play his best in the playoffs. Number 4, David Price. A 5-time All-Star and 2012 AL Cy Young winner. Price is one of the most dominant starting pitchers in baseball. His postseason play makes him one of the worst players in playoff history, however. Price has 2 wins and 15 appearances, but neither of those came from starts. Price has a career 5.54 ERA in the postseason with 8 losses. His career 3.21 ERA in the regular season suggests somebody just hates the playoffs. Number 3, Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod was a career .295 hitter, 3-time AL MVP, 1-time World Series champion, and had 696 career home runs. Aside from a successful 2009 postseason, A-Rod did not strike fear into pitchers in playoff ball the way he did in the regular season. He batted a mere .259 in the postseason with just 13 homers and 278 at-bats. He struck out 77 times, and his .550 career slugging percentage dipped to .457 during his postseason career. And his OPS was .930 in the regular season with .822 in the playoffs. Hey, the stats don't lie. Number 2, Roberto Luongo. This man has a pair of Olympic gold medals and nearly won the Stanley Cup in 2011. Luongo will finish among the top 3 goalies in career regular season wins, but man, his legacy will always be overshadowed by his ghastly playoff performances. His career goals against average in the playoffs is a solid .249, and his save percentage is a respectable .919, but his postseason record is a lackluster 34-35. In a 2009 elimination game against the Chicago Blackhawks, Luongo surrendered 7 goals. In his 2010 elimination game, it was 5 goals. And in Game 7 of the Stanley Cups in 2011, 3 bad goals. Luongo's save percentage dipped below .900 twice in the playoffs, and the Vancouver Canucks fan base essentially ran him out of town in 2014. And number 1, Dan Marino. One of the greatest quarterbacks who ever lived, Marino had 61,361 career passing yards, 420 touchdowns, and 252 interceptions. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler and won the NFL MVP in 1984. However, Marino's career playoff record of 8-10 was downright sad for such a legend. He had 32 touchdowns and 24 interceptions in his playoff career, and is widely considered the greatest quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. Which athlete do you think was the biggest playoff choker? Join us in the comments below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.